And after the silent meditation, then we'll do that.
Yes. Palmer, am I mic checked? Oh, yes, I can hear myself. Okay. So are we live? Oh, hooray. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Good morning to the brave people who came to the New Thought Center, rain or shine, mostly rain. And welcome to the watching on live stream, probably a larger number than usual because it seemed like kind of the prudent and safe thing to do, especially if you have a long drive to get here. My name is Pasha McGregor. I'm facilitating this morning. Our musician is Laurie Kali, and our guest speaker is somewhere north of Waimea and wanted so much to be with us this morning. It's Annapurna Sarada, and she was telling me that her spiritual organization, SRV, Sarada Ramakrishna Vivekananda Association, they mostly are functioning by Zoom since the pandemic. People got out of the habit of coming. They actually had to close one of their ashrams. They're still doing retreats, but she was so looking forward to presenting for real three-dimensional people. She does a good deal of Zoom. So she will be rescheduled, but Waimea's gotten hit very hard. And the first thing she heard this morning when she woke up was the sound of a tree cracking. And people who care about her were saying, don't make that drive. Yeah. Hello. We're meeting in here today for a change. Please come join us. Leah, could you get a few more chairs and cushions just in case? So Annapurna will be rescheduled either in October or November. And meanwhile, Laurie has actually been a presenter, and we will be doing more music than we had originally planned. And you folks that are here, you will have the ability to express yourselves a little more if you are so inclined. The place where we usually say answer in one word, we won't place that limitation on you. So I think I need a little calming myself. I don't know about you, but I think it will be good to start with just kind of a silent, peaceful meditation. And then we're going to have this delightful musical offering from Laurie and Vivek. But right now, this, sit however you are comfortable. Take a deep, refreshing breath. Feel gratitude that you got here safely and that you were brave enough to come in the first place. If you're watching online, feel grateful for your safety wherever you are and that you're giving yourself the gift of this time of joining in consciousness with New Thought Center. Welcome back. And now we will have this musical offering from Laurie and Vivek. By the way, Vivek will be presenting next week. So isn't that right? Yeah, so you're getting a little sneak preview.
Hello, hello everyone. This song, as it's raining outside, so this song is dedicated to Lord Ganesha, who is supposed to be the first god that we revere in the Hindu culture. I come from the Himalayas, and in the Himalayas, landslides like what is happening right now here in Big Island is so common. One small story before the song: there's a mountain in my place, and there's one temple on the top of it. It's called Ganesh Talk, translates to where Lord Ganesha stepped his foot. The mountain, when there was a landslide, the whole of mountain, like one side of the mountain was crushed, but the other side of the mountain with the temple still remains. And that's the power of Lord Ganesha. So we offer our gratitude with this to Lord Ganesha. विघ्नेश्वरा गणनाथ गजानन विघ्नेश्वरा गणनाथ गजानन पार्वती नंदन शुभान पार्वती नंदन शुभानना मंगलमूर्ति श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराय श्री गणराय जय गणराय श्री गणराय अष्टविनायक शुभानना सिद्धिविनायक शुभानना निर्गमधा निसा सा
I found a Science of Mind reading that I think is kind of perfect for today. Uh, it's not actually, it doesn't have today's date in it, but thematically kind of it works. Every day brings a choice to practice stress or to practice peace. That's from Joan Borisienko and from Ernest Holmes. One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. Knowing this in your own thought, work in perfect peace and calm. And the little essay was written by Reverend Ron Fox. This is the way they've done the readings this month is interesting because it's sort of like they chose a different writer for each day of the week and kind of favorites looking back over the past 5 or 6 years. There is a fable that describes a king who offered a prize for the person who could paint the best picture of peace. There were 2 finalists. One drew a picture of peaceful mountains, fluffy clouds, and a calm lake. The other drew a picture of an angry sky, lightning, and a rushing waterfall. Behind the waterfall was a tiny bush growing from a crack in a rock. And there sat a mother bird in her nest in perfect calm. The king chose the second picture because, as the anonymous author states, peace doesn't mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of these things, maybe even in the midst of a hurricane, and still be calm in your heart. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote about how people responded to the stress of crowded refugee boats when they encountered storms or pirates. He said, if everyone panicked, the boat would capsize. If only one person remained calm and centered in God, that was enough to save everyone. What a wonderful example of how powerful our faith can be. Not only do we affect our own life, but we affect the lives of everyone around us. When we choose peace, we experience God, and no matter what appearances seem to be, deep within we are calm and serene because we know all is well and life is unfolding just as it should. The affirmation, I'll read the entire thing and then break it down into parts so you can repeat it. Today I choose peace. No matter what occurs on the outside, I move within and experience the peace and ease of spirit. In my heart, I know that all is well. Okay, now in smaller units. Today I choose peace. No matter what occurs on the outside, I move within and experience the peace and ease of spirit. I move within and experience the peace and ease of spirit. In my heart, I know all is well. In my heart, I know all is well. Lovely. Thank you. So it says, I'm doing a welcoming message and an introduction to New Thoughts Center. Let's see. And then after that, we will introduce ourselves. But okay, so I'm introducing New Thought, and then we're each taking a turn to introduce ourselves. Because we have a membership ceremony coming up in a couple of weeks, I think maybe a appropriate way to introduce New Thought is in reference to that. Um, let's see, Palmer, could you bring me? It's there. It's one of the clipboards has those forms. New Thought Center of Hawaii is probably one of the least dogmatic spiritual organizations that I've encountered. Nevertheless, we do have these 10 affirmations, and they came from International New Thought Alliance, which is we are affiliated with that organization. And around the change of the millennium, they had a committee that studied the affirmations to make sure they were, you know, see if they needed to be updated for the new millennium. And they did make some changes, but the essence is not hugely different. But anyway, if you aren't already a member and you decide to be, you basically just fill out your name and contact information in the little box. But what's on the other part of the form, it says, the following Declaration of Principles, updated for the new millennium, was approved by INTA in January 2000. If you feel an affinity for some of these statements, we welcome you to participate in our New Thought spiritual community, meaning you don't necessarily have to feel like each one is absolute gospel truth, but hopefully a few of them at least will sort of ring true for you. So I'm going to read the first one and then kind of pass it around. I think we have about the right number. I'm not going to, maybe, maybe I won't ask Laurie to because she's kind of, everything's so in perfect balance with the musical instruments. But, okay, so number one says, we affirm God as mind, infinite being, spirit, ultimate reality. And Vivek, if you could go next, you have the handheld mic and then maybe hand it to the person behind you. So you're number two. Handheld mic, please.
The second one is, we affirm that God, the good, is supreme, universal, and everlasting.
Number 3, we affirm the unity of God and humanity, in that the divine nature dwells within and expresses through each of us by means of our acceptance of it as health, supply, wisdom, love, life, truth, power, beauty, and peace.
Number 4, we affirm the power of prayer and the capacity of each person to have mystical experience with God and to enjoy the grace of God.
Number 5, we affirm the freedom of all persons as to beliefs, and we honor the diversity of humanity, affirming the dignity of human beings as founded on the presence of God within them, and therefore the principle of democracy.
Number 6, we affirm that we are all spiritual beings dwelling in a spiritual universe that is governed by spiritual law, and that in alignment with spiritual law, we can heal, prosper, and harmonize.
Number 7, we affirm that our mental states are carried forward into manifestation and become our experience in daily living.
Number 8, we affirm the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven here and now.
Number 9, we affirm expression of the highest spiritual principles in loving one another unconditionally, promoting the highest good for all, teaching and healing one another, ministering to one another, and living together in peace in accordance with the teachings of Jesus and other enlightened teachers.
Number 10, we affirm our evolving awareness of the nature of reality and willingness to refine our beliefs accordingly.
And by the way, if you aren't already a member and want to be, I'll put these on the table by the door at the end of the service, and you can, fill in the information and clip it back to the clipboard, and you will be one of the honorees. But now, at this moment, we're going to introduce ourselves, and generally, we ask the presenter to ask a question or provide a prompt that we respond to. So you say your name and then your response, and that's where normally they say, 1 to 3 words. But since the presenter was not able to join us, you can take a bit more time. At least 3 sentences is acceptable. And I'm thinking that because the presenter we announced, Annapurna Sarada, has a connection with Babaji Bob Kindler, and she's a lifetime of study of that certain aspect of Hinduism. And Laurie, our musician, is very proficient in playing traditional instruments. She plays the veena and the sarangi and on a also a little bit tampura and tabla drums. And she got so inspired by these learning these musical skills that she made several trips to India, and she's lived in a traditional ashram. So I'm thinking that most of you who made the journey, in spite of the weather, uh, probably have some interest in Indian culture and spirituality. And, I've made several references to weather, and I realize there's some people watching the live stream who probably don't really keep track of our Hawaii weather forecasts. So, in case you wondered about that, what's going on is it's the first named storm of the season, Hurricane Hone, and it's passing to the south of the island. Um, yes. And then, yeah, another one's coming next week, but hopefully not quite as close. We'll see. My two daughters who grew up on here in Hawaii but now live on the mainland, they say they observe that their parents and other people who live in Hawaii tend to be, quote, weather wimps. That we think it's cold when the temperature falls below 70 and things like that. But this really is serious weather. So anyone who's actually physically here today is not a weather wimp. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to give you, I don't know what Annapurna would have asked us, but I'm going to give you a prompt that has something to do with that. Um, so it's say your name and then what intrigues you about the Indian cultural and or spiritual traditions. And if you have actually already delved into it, tell us a little bit about that.
Miss Colleen, oh, am I supposed to say my name?
Yes, please.
I'm living in Holualoa. I'll answer that, but I just wanted to say when I left the island for a month, and I come here every once in a while, but I didn't know it was going to happen, but it was one of the main things I missed is coming and watching people's gifts. And so it was Manini Beach and New Thought Center. I had no idea. So that's why I made it here today, no matter what. So that was a beautiful thing. The Indian culture, well, I would say the grace and the softness of the teachings and the people themselves, and of course, and now the singing and all the music. It just hits me in a place that's easy, right? It's just an easy, soft place in my heart. So that's it. Thank you. Colleen.
My name is Leah, and I've always had a fascination for all the world religions because when we do have the opportunity to either physically walk or run or travel around the world in whatever manner we do and observe all the different cultures, belief systems that work for different people, it fascinates me because I kind of see it as the big picture that we're all kind of saying the same things with different words. And that in terms of the Hindu religion, I actually was honored to go to India when I was 20 years old. And I also sensed even then the softness and the peacefulness
of that particular belief system. And I'm an artist, so I love all the art and the architecture and the beauty that is appreciated.
I'm Candy. What they said.
I am Vivek, and I'm an Indian. So yeah, so I was born and brought up in India, and I'm here in Hawaii right now. My mentor, about whom I'm going to also present next week, he says culture is concern for others, and that's what India is, because we believe and we also propagate the message of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which says the whole world is one family. And when I say someone is family, it means that I'll do whatever is possible in my might to help the other person. And that's why one of the most universal prayers that has ever emanated from India says, Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, which translates to, may all the beings, living, non living, does not discriminate. In the world, out the world, does not discriminate. It says, may all the beings in all the world be happy and healthy. That's India for me.
Good morning. My name is Reagan. Was the question culture or spirituality about?
Take your choice.
Okay. Well, they're sort of interwoven, I guess. I've been to India just one time, and it was work related, but I felt like I was just in this nonstop three-ring circus, like it's a carnival all the time. The culture is very vibrant, the food and the music, and there's a festival every day somewhere. So it's a culturally unbelievable place. Spiritually, very interesting with Hindu and Buddhists and Jains and Sikhs and all sorts of spiritual people out and about. Everywhere you go, you see people that are in some sort of garb or practice. So it's just this amazing mix, I guess, that's super dynamic. And I guess I'm attracted to the Buddhist aspect more than the Hindu personally, but I was looking forward to the speaker today to hear her thoughts on Advaita and non-duality, which I think are very attractive, interesting topics for us. So I'll look forward for her coming back.
Hi, I'm Jan, and at first I was going to pass, and then my brain rolled back to when I was 19 years old, and a dear friend of mine and I joined an Indian group that was local to the kind of a college town I lived in, and we learned how to meditate and do yoga, and did a bunch of the kirtan dancing, and we stayed with that for a while and have kept it within us all this time.
My name's Lexi, and also I was probably going to pass, but yeah, yoga, meditation, breath work, and I definitely am interested to learn more, and maybe I'll go to India one day.
My name is Glenn, and this is Kim, and we're visiting here. We're from New Thought Center, west of Asheville, North Carolina.
My name's Kim. It's called the Creative Thought Center, and we have several people that are part of Oneness Foundation. And the first Sunday of every month, they do the gift of Ananda, joy, oneness, and they have a ceremony, and we've taken part in some of their programs. We're followers of Abraham. That's a law of attraction, but there's a lot of commonalities, so it's wonderful to learn all types of spiritual outlooks.
I'm Palmer. I've been to India a number of times, and Vivek is staying with my wife and I here in Hawaii. And it's just been a wonderful experience having Vivek. He's a very old soul in a young body. He truly is. India, for me, is what intrigues me about it is the spirituality is truly a part of everyday life. It's number one. You can't help but experience the spirituality in India just going about your daily activities. It permeates everything. India can be a very physically challenging place to live, but it's a spiritual smorgasbord, and people just relish in it. All of the different expressions, the holidays, it's the kirtans, the bhajans. It's just a very unique country and way of living your life. Service is number one. Helping people. And it doesn't seem to have a lot of the dogma or bureaucracy. It's kind of a ground roots thing. Help your fellow man directly. Yeah.
See, Laurie's next.
Hi, I'm Laurie, and I'm doing the music today. I love coming here to present the Indian music with the speakers whenever Pasha or Tony, who also organizes some things with New Thought quite a bit. And I just love coming here, so thanks for having me. Should I, well, just go ahead a little
Well,
bit
just
with the music part? Or?
no, we have time. Just you can say a few words about your
Okay.
India experience.
Okay, so I went to India when I was also in my 20s, early 20s, and it was a spiritual seeking trip that lasted about 7 months. And a lot of people were going then and staying a year or 2 years. It was amazing because people in Europe get these very long vacations or breaks in their life and they'll go there. And so it wasn't that hard to find my way. And I had some really incredible sort of samadhi-ish experiences that didn't last terribly long, but at least it got me to feel that higher level and have that experience in India because it's just so available there. And then I found some of those experiences involved hearing the music, the sitar and the beautiful sounds and singing. And so later in life, I went back to study in India, had gone through my whole 30s and 40s, something like that, and went back later and got training in Indian classical music and found it also quite amazing. India changed quite a bit from being a country where everyone walked everywhere or took trains to people having very loud motorcycles and motor scooters. And, finding that being able to meditate through that was a wonderful thing because you could still feel everything. And of course, all that Indian spirituality was still there. It just was a little bit of fog over it with some of the loud noises, but you could get away from it within a few blocks of a major sort of intersection that you could hardly cross the street, and it's only from the wall to here. And you could hardly cross the street, but a few blocks off, it's a temple with pujas going on and great music. Anyway, that's a little bit of my story. Thank you.
Oh, let's see. I have my own mic. Well, I haven't yet been to India, but I began the first time it really came into my consciousness, like as in a personal way was my best friend when I was a young teenager was the daughter of a doctor, and actually it was our family doctor. And in the summer, he sometimes would do volunteer work, and uh, he tried to find opportunities where he could take his whole family. And so I think it was right. I don't know. We were maybe 14, and so the whole family went to Assam province in India, which I guess at that time anyway, their medical establishment wasn't meeting all their needs, so they were glad to have a few volunteers from the West, and she would write me these letters back, and it was like just such a fascinating, different world, and she told me about a poet named Rabindranath Tagore. I think he actually won a Nobel Prize, and I just remember one line that seemed very beautiful and meaningful. Is I dive in the sea of forms in search of the pearl of the formless. Yeah. Well, that was lovely. It feels like we've done a bit of a trip ourselves, just vicariously. Yeah. So now we are we are going to enjoy another song. Is this one's you, right? Okay. And you can tell us something about it, or you can just perform it.
I'll tell you a little something because there's some people that are new here.
Anyway, this is the called Mohan Veena. There's many types of Venas. Venus originated really in South India, and then they got rather. They decided at some point to put a guitar body as a Veena. So it has the same setup, the same as 22 strings, and it has a similar setup between a Veena and a sitar on a guitar body. But it's really called a Hawaiian slide. In India, you'll see they have Hawaiian slide guitar if you YouTube it or something, for many, many years going back. And there was a man who came from here and was kind of stuck in India for a while on a performance. He used to perform sort of in a royal court in India way back. And they would do hula and other things. And they played the, I don't know if you've seen the old lap steels were sort of small. And he had that there. And so he was stuck there for a little while because of Pearl Harbor. And he couldn't come back. So a lot of Indian makers of instruments saw what he was doing and kind of mushed together the veena and other instruments based also on what he was doing with his little instrument. Anyway, it's a long story and people tell it many different ways. So that's what I'm playing today. And I think that's pretty much what I have to say about this instrument. And I'm just going to play simple. I'm not playing with a drum today. I'm just playing kind of a improv on a morning raga called Ayur Bhaira.
the sort of most typical way of New Thought people expressing appreciation is do the sign language for applause, but that feels so sort of deep and inner. It just feels more appropriate to namaste. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I think it's time for sharing miracles. So that would be, there are many definitions, but this is the ones I like, some of my favorite definitions. We actually call them miracles and ordinaries because we don't want people to think it just always, it doesn't have to be on the level of parting the seas or walking on water or anything. So special happenings and insights, and they feel like miracles because they're sometimes unexpected and remind us of truth. Sometimes they change us, but they're also ordinary because they happen right in the midst of our daily lives, and the lessons are right there to benefit us right now. So if you have anything that resembles that, one of those descriptions, come on up and the mic is ready. I think it is. Uh-oh. Now, why did that happen? It hasn't happened any other time.
Birthday party. Went to a birthday party yesterday for a past student who was turning 6 and was at the beach. Of course, the theme was mermaids. And so when we left, we were each gifted a little mermaid bag and a little mermaid key ring and some things, all sparkly things. And I promptly dropped my key ring and the tail broke off because I didn't say anything, of course. And I left, and when I got to my car, here comes a papa with his teenage girl carrying her. She was obviously not able to walk. And I wanted to say something about her, to her, about her coming out of the water as a mermaid, but didn't quite know how without sounding weird or something. And so Papa puts her in the car, and I said something to him, and he said, "Oh yeah, that has been said to her before." And so I said, "Oh wait, I have something for her." And so I ran, got the little cute mermaid bag, and brought it to her. And the look on her face was so precious. And I said to her, "You are such a beautiful mermaid." And she nodded. So it's interesting synchronicities like that, the mermaid tail falling off, and there was the girl.
Well, my name is Leah, and although this happened quite a few years ago, last week I was reminded of the power of prayer, and it made me think back to when my mother was ill. She had traveled to Africa with her cousin, which was a lifelong dream, and unbeknownst to her, they both came back with something very rare, some very rare disease from Africa. The doctor couldn't figure out even what it was. They put her into a medical coma, and she was in the hospital for, I'm searching my memory now, but approximately 6 weeks. And in that 6 weeks, she dropped down to, she was probably 150 pounds, and she dropped down to 98 pounds. And she was I would go in, she was in isolation, I would go in and talk to her, even though, she was in a coma. On some level, I believed that she could hear me, and brush her hair and encourage her and touch her and stroke her arms and be there for her. And I talked to the doctor as regularly as possible, and he said at that point, "I'm so sorry, but she's going down. I think she's about to leave. I'm only giving her about a 20% chance." And I thought, "You're wrong." I went to her apartment and I found her address book, and I called every single person listed on the phone. And I said, "Whatever your form of belief is, send her love, send her energy, love her, encourage her to stay if it's meant to be, pray for her, meditate, whatever form. Olga," my name was Olga. "Olga needs you now." So 3 days later, I went to the hospital, and the doctor had a big smile on his face. He said, she's coming back. I give her 80% now. And he said, "I don't know what happened." Nothing medically had changed. And I said, "I know what happened." And I shared with him. He said, "Well, keep doing that." And she made another, I think, 12, 15 years of life. So that was wonderful. Yeah, it is powerful. We are all powerful. What else? I'm going to say my parent holding it up. Kind of shy, but that's okay. So I love to teach special needs and adults with fears to swim. And so life just sort of took me on a ride where I couldn't do that for a while. And I always kept it in there. I go, well, biggest dream possible is there's a giant pool and I live in the pool house. That's kind of a queen dream for me, And so stuff happens, things happen. I went back to the mainland. I have to come back here and I get to teach some adults with fears to snorkel for a workshop. And I'm like, I'm coming back. I got to do it. And I go, I don't know how. And so I go on the internet and I find this place to stay. And I go, some of what I don't do is speak up and say what I want. Like some people just say it. I can't do it. Or I can now, actually. So then I go, I said, "Could you give me a video of the place that I'm supposed to sleep in for this 20 days? Oh, it wasn't okay. It just wasn't okay. Hawaii. I go, and she goes, okay, listen, I'll let you stay in the cabin. And I'm like, that could be scary too. I go, I'll take the cabin. So I come onto the property and there's this giant, beautiful pool overlooking the ocean. And she goes, she wasn't in town. She goes, just walk around the pool and the cabin's it's this beautiful little cottage with a hammock and a chair and a bed and a real bathroom and no kitchen, but that's okay. So I just sat there and went, I forgot that I kind of dreamed that up. I really did. I just said it was. But there's things at work here. They're like, let's do it. Let's give it. And so I'm sitting there and I just, what somebody had said was, this is beautiful. This is your dream. And I'm like, you're right, it is. But it's less important this was beautiful that you talked about that. What's going on out here with this beautiful pool and this little pool house. I'm more focused on whether this is a beautiful pool house and a beautiful pool, and I have a little work to do with being at peace here, so that I can actually experience that, right? Because it was a gift, and it's like, well, and so that I can teach these classes with my heart and my peace, right? So anyway, that's it. That's a miracle to me, both of them. Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful miracles. Oh, I don't need this. is there complete? Was there anyone else that wanted to share something this morning? Okay, I think it's complete. I'll give it back to you so it's not making interference with the other microphone. They each like to have their own force field. Okay. This is where I would introduce the presenter. um, I will tell you a little bit about her because she will be coming back. She's a lovely lady, and one of the things I noticed she didn't include in her bio that she submitted is that she plays the flute, Annapurna Sarada, and Babaji Bob Kindler plays the cello. I mean, they're just multi-talented people, and I think I first met them in their musical mode before I got to know about their spiritual path very much. And I noticed that I liked the way they made music together, that they, one didn't dominate another, that they harmonized, and if somebody made a mistake, it wasn't terrible. They just move on. That probably serves them well in their spiritual community as well. So she was originally initiated into the Ramakrishna lineage by Swami Seshananda, a monastic disciple of Sri Sarada Devi, the wife and spiritual consort of Sri Ramakrishna. And after the Swami's passing, she continued her studies with his foremost disciple, Babaji Bob Kindler. And Annapurna does a lot of the sort of organizing work, like administration, right? But also she does teaching, and she's participated in a prison ministry, sharing Vedanta and yoga philosophy with men and women in several prisons in Oregon. And one of you mentioned something about being interested in the Buddhist aspect. Something unique to me about Babaji Bob Kindler, and I'm probably Annapurna as well, that Babaji says he has a dual lineage because he has studied both the Vedanta and also the Tibetan Buddhism. And so he sort of has woven them together in a unique way. So we have that to look forward to, either October or November. But let's see what else we have. It's kind of relaxing in a way to not. Sometimes it feels like, oh, there's too much. How can we fit it all in and still be finished by 11:30? But it's like we, with just 11 of us and no speaker, it is rather relaxing. And it's a potluck day, so when we finish, we can enjoy food together. So I think I'm just going to move on to the offertory, the offering. So sometimes the facilitator will say something like, "Well, give what you can, so we can keep the lights on," or something. But that seems a little not so inspiring, So I'd rather share some wise words from one of the New Thought teachers of the past, Charles Fillmore. Charles Fillmore and his wife were the main founders of the Unity branch of New Thought. And here's some things he had to say about prosperity. So if we all feel prosperous, then we, the whatever we might put in the koa bowl, it's just kind of a more lovely, uplifting feeling. So here's one thing. It says, I give, this is an affirmation, I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving, knowing that as I do so, divine love bountifully supplies and increases substance to meet my every need. Yes. So. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the physical gifts and for the energy you put into it. So, Laurie, do you have any announcements about musical happenings or anything else you do that people can access? She lives near Akaka Falls.
Right. I would just say if anybody wants to have Indian music at their home or another venue, just let me know. We have some Indian musicians living on the island, and now Vivek is here. So we can definitely put things together. We have some dancers also. And I'm planning on having some kind of a monthly practice where anybody can come. It'll be free. If you want to learn some Indian music, there's some instruments that are very easy to play and some that are a little harder, but I have instruments for you to play if you want to come, but I'll have to let you know when I start scheduling that. And it can be on this side, it can be on the other side, open to both. I've never done that before, I've never offered it that way, but I'm hoping people will come and promote that. And there can be poems. Indian music poems or anything South Asian. I could open it up even more. There could be yoga before a practice. However, people want to sort of manifest this, I'd love to put that together. So as of now, I don't have anything except if you're going to be in Honolulu November 3rd, there is going to be a Diwali party. It's open to the public. You pay to go, and they provide a lot of entertainment and um, food, complete dinner. So that'll be through the Lotus Foundation over there. And more to come as I sort of reconnect into the island. I was away for a few months. So.
Laurie, is there some like newsletter or website or anything where, as things develop, it'll be
There's
announced?
there's my Facebook page, which it was Indian Music Hawaii, but it's now called Bhakti Leela Devotional. If you want to be on a list, you could maybe leave your email, and I can let people know, and I can try to let you know too.
Okay.
And I have indiamusichawaii.com is my website, so I would post there for any of this too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some new thought announcements. So we have our Sunday services at 10 a.m., rain or shine, in person at the center and by live stream. There's a video on the YouTube channel afterwards. So if you tune in while it's happening, you see the live stream, and if it doesn't work out to do that, you can still see the video of it subsequently. We offer free childcare as long as we know ahead of time so that we can have a childcare person on duty. However, we are seeking a new babysitter. It's worked out really great for several generations of children where the little children are being enjoying the care while their parents enjoy the service. Then they grow up and they become the next babysitter. But there's a slight gap because Faith, the child of Pomaikai, has decided she's too old for childcare at the age of 10, but she isn't quite old enough to be a babysitter. So we're looking for that next wonderful teenager that would enjoy that role, and we will pay for it. If once we have that person, I think we won't have to require reservations anymore. But for now, we'd like to know by Friday if somebody is planning to bring a child. Our next 3 Sundays, Bibek, who you heard already, is speaking next week. Vivek Sharma, and his topic is Experiences and Learnings Living with the Master. Music by Darby Partner. And Vivek, it's like, is it the successor to Satya Sai Baba that's the master you're referring to? Okay, what's his name? Satguru Madhusudan Sai. Okay. Someday it'll be a household word. And the following Sunday, the 8th of September, we don't have any speaker. That's when we are planning to celebrate the New Thought birthday. The let's see, 71. It would be the 53rd anniversary of the establishment of the Root Church, which grew into New Thought Center of Hawaii. And we have a new baker. We're so grateful to Liza Brown for many magnificent birthday cakes, but she moved to the mainland. But lo and behold, we have a new baker. It's Joe, and he said yes. So he's brought some pretty impressive things just to ordinary potlucks. So I thought, yeah, maybe he's the one. And that's the other thing that we'll be doing special that day is welcoming our new members that have signed this paper. The following week is the 15th of September, and we just got an acceptance for that day. It's Heidi Tehana, and she has not given that topic yet, but I just learned that she was like the co-producer of this film about the life of Joan Ocean, and there's going to be a premiere of that movie at the Aloha Theater that day. So she's going to present for us in the morning, and then she said that, well, sorry, she can't stay for lunch because she has to dash off to the Aloha and be there for the premiere. And of course, any of us that want to go, we can go too. It starts at 1, I think, but because she's one of the organizers, she has to be there early. So that's middle of September, and that's probably about as far as anybody wants to try to remember. Most of what's in the announcements is also on our physical bulletin board. So if you're actually here attending in person and there's something of interest to you, you can use your phone and take a picture of the bulletin board on your way out. We have one weekly class. It's Tai Chi and Qigong, and the teacher is Jinan Wang. He was our presenter last Sunday. It's $15 a class. The monthly events that we have at New Thought are the end of the month potluck, which is today, and the first Sunday of the month, which will be next week, we do the produce giveaway. If you have a garden or a fruit tree, you can share your surplus and be prepared to take home some of the things brought by other people. That's next week after service, and then the second Sunday is the crystal bowl meditation before service, and that takes place here, indoor room. Normally, the main service is outdoors, and it's beforehand. It's like 9 to 9:30 is the crystal bowl meditation. I believe Kaimana is going to be doing it this month, excuse me, next month, September. We have a few special events on the calendar. I think the soonest is September 7th, so a week from yesterday. No, is that right? Okay, it's after yours. It's closer to 2 weeks. Yeah, and it's Maria Mann. She's doing a series called Love Continuum, and each one is correlated with a basic element. I think the one for September is water, but anyway, it's on the bulletin board. You can check this from 1 to 5 here in this room. The fee is $50, but she does offer Kama Aina rates if you ask. Then the following day, Sunday the 8th, as I mentioned, is the welcome ceremony for new members. So it's the perfect time to join. We generally do this kind of ceremony just twice a year, once in connection with the birthday and once at the time of our annual meeting in February. Okay, on Sunday, October 13th, the speaker, Sheila Gallion, is planning to offer a workshop in the afternoon. It's on self-hypnosis. It's from 1:30 to 3:30 by Love Offering. After that, she's going to be doing a series of 3 workshops. She did this course in hypnosis, all different aspects of hypnosis, and so one's going to be past life regression, one's going to be future life progression, and I can't remember what the third one is, but that's coming up in after her Sunday presentation. And I think she's charging $35 per workshop, but if you commit to doing all 3 of them, you can pay $75 for the series. Okay, you are invited to submit prayer requests to the New Thought Prayer Ministry. We didn't get, I don't think we got out the box yet, but maybe Leah. Well, when we move outside, it's not so stormy now, so I think we can enjoy moving outside for the potluck, and you could get it out then. Yeah. So but also there we have paper forms you can fill out if you're here at the center, but you can also submit prayer requests by email to the New Thought email. If you're not on the mailing list and you want to be, the guest book is in the entry hall just outside that open door there. If you sign your name and your email clearly written, you can be added on. Otherwise, you can add yourself to the mailing list by visiting the website www.newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. There are little cards out in the hallway also that have that address of the website and other useful information. I think that completes it for New Thought announcements. So we're going to close our service with the singing of Hawaii Aloha, and we don't have the words posted in here. So what do you think? Should we say bye to our live stream audience and move outside, or do you have it memorized? Move outside? Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody that's watching from other places. I see there's some. Oh, Palmer, can you see what it says in the chat box before we end the live stream? That's the only way we know who's watching, if they send us a message. Hi, Jean. Oh, Takuma. All right. Hello, Takuma. Well, we're going to move outside because the words are posted, but we won't try to include it in the live stream. Okay, aloha, everybody. Yeah.